Romans chapter 14 and verse number 12 says, "So then, every one of us shall give account of himself to God." Every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Whenever the great ship, the Titanic, was sinking, the bands who had been playing party tunes and dance tunes suddenly changed their tune and started playing "Nearer, My God, to Thee." And that still and solemn night, whenever many people were realizing that they were on the brink of eternity and they were perishing. And it is said that the Captain Smith was standing, and as people come in for advice, his crewmen, his officers, he said these words, and they were amongst his last: "Now it's every man for himself." He was heard to re-echo those words several times before he was last seen in that captain's room in the ship. Now it's every man for himself. You see, suddenly, whenever they realised that that ship was sinking, class distinctions made no difference. Didn't matter if you had a first class, second class, third class ticket, or whether you were a crew member. It was every man for himself. And so it is with God's judgment. We are all nearer, in a sense, to God, in the sense of judgment, than we've ever been before. Hebrews 9:27, "And as it is appointed unto man once to die, but after this the judgment." We're getting nearer that day. And whenever that day comes for each and every one of us, the great judgment day, the Apostle Paul makes it clear that it's every man for himself. I know that there are many hypocrites that align themselves with churches. It's one of the biggest challenges that I face in the ministry. It's one of the best excuses that people have for not becoming a Christian. There are hypocrites in the church, and it was the same in New Testament times. The religious crowd had a lot of hypocrites. But don't miss the real thing for the sake of hypocrites. Hypocrites are lost. The Lord made that very, very clear. And Jesus Christ was certainly no hypocrite. He invites you to come and trust in him and put your faith in him and get to know him, and you'll discover that he's no disappointment. "Whosoever believeth in him shall not be ashamed." But the reality is that whenever I stand before God in the judgment day, I'll not be giving an account for the hypocrites. I'll not be giving an account for the man across the street or the man across the way in the church. I'll be giving an account for this life. I'll not give an account for your life, and you'll not give an account for mine. Every one of us shall give an account of himself before God. Do you see there that this is universal? Every one of us shall give an account. It's personal. Every one of us shall give an account of himself. And it's very solemn. Every one of us shall give an account of himself before God Almighty, before our Creator, before the one who has given us his law, his rules that he wants us to live by, so we can glorify him and enjoy life. The one who gave his son to die on a cross to save us. That's what we'll give an account for. Pilate said, "What then shall I do with Jesus, which is called the Christ?" He knew he was personally responsible and personally accountable. You'll stand someday before the judgment bar of God, and on that day it'll be every man for himself. What will you do with Jesus, which is called the Christ? Trust him now. Give him your heart. Give him your life.